Hi, in this slide, some semantics. I talk about wholesale customers, minnows. I talk about self-employed, growing nowhere people as opposed to entrepreneurs, all kind of interchangeably. So, what's this all about? First of all, a wholesale service model on a continuum, a range of just think cost per square foot. If I have a retail location at the mall, my cost per square foot is astronomical. Whereas if I have a distribution center made out of thin metal down in the scary part of town, where the warehouse is cold in the winter, not in the summer, there isn't a lot of traffic, commercial, any kind of traffic going by. Then if I'm going to sell something, I got to put it on a truck and get it out of there. I've got to deliver it to somebody to where the people are. And in the middle, there's a medium price cost per square foot on a four-lane, commercial highway where you can see a Fastenal sign. So I often use Fastenal as a good example of a wholesale model. And in this kind of a model, we can see the sign. There's a lot of traffic, so people we don't even go after discover us. They can pull in, park right in front, walk in, help themselves to stuff, go over to a cash register, and basically they can scan it themselves, swipe a credit card through, pay cash. Whoever is attended doesn't necessarily know much about any of the product. You're not paying somebody enough to know about the product. And the prices could be as whatever the traffic will bear. And often it's kind of a convenience store kind of pricing where, yeah, the price is high, but because I need it and time is money, I'm willing to trade off the convenience and uptime, billing time, solve the problem. I've got an emergency that needs to be fixed, as opposed to let's take a couple weeks to shop around for best price or drive a couple hours to get a little bit better deal. So the wholesale service model is not, and this is very important, it's not the typical counter house account model that distributors have. I remember sitting in a meeting of a large contractor supply chain, and all these branch managers are freaking out because the customer profitability analysis report was showing that all these quote good counter house accounts that came in and paid full wholesale list price were actually unprofitable. And one of the branch managers said, we've got to wake up. We've got to pull our head out of the sand, and we've got to realize what's been going on for the last 25 years. He said, just for grins, I went over to Home Depot to benchmark what they're currently doing. I'm, certified, contractor kind of guy. I know our products very well, and I do handy stuff on the weekend. So I needed two of our typical A items. And so I went over to Home Depot. I timed myself on my stopwatch on my wristwatch. From the time I parked my car, I walked in, I got the two items I needed, I scanned them myself, I swiped my credit card through. The total bill was like $7.25, and I was back in my car in 5 minutes. Now, at our counter, people come in and they'll wait for half an hour, 45 minutes at first thing in the morning. And then we go, a human is involved here, where we go and pick the single A battery, and then we come back and say, don't scan it yourself, don't pay cash or credit card, we'll bill you. We'll send some paper in the mail, and you can do three-way matches in your payables department, and we'll do three-way matches in our receivables department. And $45 of the paperwork costs later on both sides of the fence will have commemorated this $2 purchase or whatever it is. So this model that we're doing at the counter is not what's become so highly automated and efficient that you see now at places like Home Depot or out in LA. Well, actually, a lot of Western states, there's a cash and carry food chain called Smart and Final. Fastenal obviously is a king in the wholesale space. In this wholesale model, typically traditional distributor services are unbundled. So, you want it delivered? We deliver, but for a fee, and the prices can actually be pretty high. Otherwise, you're driving in, you're the one that's picking it. We're not picking it for you. You're going to scan it. We're not going to enter the data in and so forth. You're going to pay cash or credit card, which in small purchases is far more efficient than dealing with the traditional trade credit paperwork that's involved in a wholesale model. Another key point is everyone. I don't care if you're the biggest corporation on the planet and a maintenance guy from your company is running over to buy stuff at my wholesale location because the alternative is to fill out some form and wait 6 weeks or something to get it internally. They need it now. So they're going to maverick purchase circumvent their traditional in-house system. And of course the central controller people are going to freak out because you could have bought that safety supply item. We buy it by the truckload and really super efficient and so forth. Our price for that stuff is really low, but it's the internal paperwork and process of getting it that the people just can't wait for. So everyone pays a higher price. I've seen, again, contractor supply distributors where they have maybe a central warehouse and they have satellite locations. Large contractors get some contract price deal, and that's fine if they want to buy in bulk from the central warehouse with that kind of model, but they want to actually also be able to stop by our convenience stores and get fill-in items at contract prices. Well, the wholetailer model, they don't allow that. Everybody just pays the highest price. That's the way it is. But also, everybody gets the C-store, it's here, you've got it, you've got uptime, time is money value proposition that they're offering, as opposed to the planned bulk buys that you get from wholesale distributors. And clearly, I know personally, I'm guilty of buying stuff at an airport and paying a ridiculous price. But when all my family's together and so forth, once a month I'm over at Walmart loading up on staple commodities because the prices are so good. Now, when you think about getting into the wholesale business, realize that already it is over niched. I mean, I'm sure if you walk into Home Depot and you look at all the categories of products, say, my gosh, they've really got the top 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 items of lots of different kinds of wholesalers in this store. They can't all be winners. Fastenal start off in fasteners. They've got maybe 15 different categories of items that they've added to try to keep Wall Street happy with increasing same-store sales. That's not same-store net profit per SKU kind of stuff, but so I'm sure that they're guilty of overshooting, and they have some categories of items that frankly they don't make too much money on or any money at all. So it's over-niched, it's oversaturated, and it's highly automated because the people who have been focusing on this model for a long, long time have gotten very good. Think Home Depot and that 5-minute benchmark story. So I do think that we do not want to be distracted with trying to create the be-all, end-all wholesale division if it's going to take our attention away from the 20% of the customers who are 80% of the volume, for whom we could go out with our 4-view analysis and really create precision supply chain, your math-based solutions that are going to allow us to improve the inherent profitability of the relationship, improve the total supply chain effectiveness for the customers so they want to give us all their business, or certainly a lot more share of the business. That is the bigger opportunity if you're a traditional wholesale creature. So that's the end of wholesale. As far as minnows, the idea that small business people are entrepreneurs is called the E-myth, entrepreneurial myth. It turns out that actually 95% of small employers in the country are actually just self-employed. They do what they do, and that's all they do. Only about 5% are true blue entrepreneurs who are willing to take risks, do innovative stuff, and try to create ever bigger wealth machines. So most of these minnows are just minnows, and they're never going to grow into whales. Or another favorite stat of mine is the idea that acorn customers can grow into mighty oak trees. Yeah, well, in mature forests, let alone mature consolidating industry forests, acorns don't stand a chance. And besides, for these minnows, the supply chain economics and the social political trends think any employee can sue you for more and more for doing less and less. Obamacare, states putting more and more taxes and regulations on you because they've got to feed peak government needs and so forth. These things are militating against small business people, and the big chains are doing an ever better job dealing with those kinds of trends. I've already talked about these 2 points. We're over-servicing and undercharging them. and a value exchange, and so we're bleeding from 100 little nicks, so we don't have the proactive energy that we can put into our 2080 precision supply chain opportunity. So that's the vocabulary of wholetail and minnows. Thank you.